Good morning. Sorry we had to delay our broadcast today. We had to go down to Havana and pick up some food products for our food closet. I thought it was really neat. As we were coming back, we began to think about how God was providing during these tough times, especially for folks that are in need of food or assistance. What I brought back was basically about a half a pallet full of potatoes, the large baking kind. And I thought, man, God must have something prepared for it because that's a lot of potatoes for our little church. But turns out that He has a purpose for it. I really believe it reminds me of the feeding that Jesus did of the 5,000 up here in Luke, the 9th chapter. It talks about it. He said, when the day began to wear away, the 12 came and said to Him, send the multitude away that they may go into the surrounding towns and country and lodge and get provisions, for we are in a desert place here. But He said to them, you give them something to eat. And they said, we have no more than 5 loaves and 2 fishes, unless we go and buy food for all these people. For there were about 5,000 men. Then He said to His disciples, make them sit down in groups of 50. And they did so and made them sit down. And He took the 5 loaves and the 2 fishes and looked up to heaven, and He blessed and broke them, and gave them to the disciple to set before the multitude, so that they all ate and are filled, and 12 baskets of leftover fragments were taken up by them. It's amazing that when God provides, He provides a plethora of food, plenty of food to do for everybody. And of course, that's one of the things we're trying to do at our church is make sure that nobody goes hungry. That's why we have a food closet, one that runs every 4th Thursday, and then we also distribute USDA stuff on the first Tuesday, or second Tuesday of the month, so that people can have something to eat. I picked up that 50 pounds of potatoes. I picked up several of them, matter of fact, to move them. And I remembered how my dad thought about us when we were going to college, first time that we moved down to Bolivar, Missouri, to go to Southwest Baptist College there. And he sent us 50 pounds of potatoes. We thought, man, we'll never use up 50 pounds of potatoes. But I remember when we got down to the last potato, I remember we thanked the Lord that we had that one potato for that evening because there was nothing there left in the larder for the next day. But the next day, somebody left 2 bags of groceries on our porch. I don't know who did, still don't know to this day. But God provided. That's what we need to remember. We worry so much about what we have or we don't have, when really God said that He would provide for us. He said, look at the lilies of the field and how they're arrayed. Look at the birds of the air and how they are fed. And yet not one of them passes away that He doesn't know that it falls. So God is in charge if we will just let Him be. We need to be as conscious of the needs of people as anybody else, and we need to do our part. I believe that God provides for these things for us when it comes necessary. I didn't even know about this stock of potatoes until last night when the food distribution man called me and said, can you all use some potatoes? He said, I got 40 ton down here. I thought, man, we can't use that much, but I can use some. And so we went down and got some. And as we did, we talked about how neat it was that God does provide. Even when we don't need everything that we've got, there comes a need later on. Folks, I want you to know you can trust God for your needs. If you're needing food, call us. We'll be glad to make sure you're fed. We do not want anybody going hungry. But if you know of somebody who's hungry, maybe you can help them too. Hopefully, they're hungry for the Word of God. Share it with them so that they might not only be fed, but be saved. Because this upcoming age is going to be a terrible time not to be. God bless you. Have a great day today.